Hi, it's your girl Mamarazzi with Mamarazzi Entertainment Magazine, and I have the pleasure today to be with Mr. Crim, Dela Crim.
Tell them what's happening.
All right, and so it's such a pleasure to be able to interview you today.
Finally,
Yeah, it's been a while since we've interviewed. You have been taken over. You've done a lot, accomplished a lot, and what feels like a short amount of time, but the journey for you began long time ago. Can you tell me how you got your start?
My start, so I've been writing music since I was a freshman in high school. My start goes all the way back to this dude. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Big Mane. He was the first studio I recorded in, and fast forward, I did some rap battles, but like when I first actually started taking it serious as a business was 2014. Big shout out to Polar, R.I.P. He really took me under his wing and taught me the game, as far as making money and everything. So.
I'm glad you mentioned him. Can you tell me about the profound loss that had for you to lose Polar?
It was crazy. I've never, where I come from, I just never lost many people in my life. I lost my grandpa when I was in 5th grade, but that was like the only death I ever experienced, and so to lose someone that was like close to him, we hung out every day. Like when I say he took me under his wing, he literally did that and had me in the studio and just teaching me things. And so it was definitely a big loss, and I know I wasn't the only one that experienced that feeling. Like he was a big deal.
Dela was a great influencer here in the Wichita, Kansas area. Since then you have relocated and you are rubbing elbows with some of the biggest names in entertainment.
Right.
Scott Storch, I've always loved him, as a producer. Just anytime he gets on something, it blows up. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what it's been like working with him.
It's literally a dream come true. I remember being in high school, I used to always get on Wikipedia and search Scott Storch and look up all the songs he produced, and we just go randomly listen to him and shit. So we all know the famous ones, but there was obviously hundreds of other ones. So I used to always fan out with Scott Storch, and then he was the first with the Bugatti, and it was just like he lived a lifestyle that I think we all dream about.
Yes.
And so fast forward to now, I stayed in his house for a weekend and recorded an entire album. So
what would you say you have learned from him? So just to be in his presence, I know has to be amazing. You have to be like a sponge working in the studio with him.
The thing with Scott, when you're working with Scott, he keeps you extra high. I ain't gonna lie. Him and Burner are like best friends. So the best weed I've ever smoked is with Scott Storch. So I be in that motherfucker just dozed out high. I can't even smoke when I go over there if I'm trying to be productive. But no, one thing the most, I guess the most impactful thing I've learned from him is just how humble he is. Like, if anyone deserves to not be humble, I think it's Scott. But he's, out of everyone I've met in the industry, he's the most humble person.
He has a huge body of work, and so it's so good to see him coming back into the fold, and being able to work with you has just got to be amazing because you are getting to learn so much from him. Who else have you had the pleasure to rub elbows with?
So because of the Scott Storch project, his manager is Steve Lobel, which Steve Lobel's behind great names like Nipsey Hussle, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Sean Kingston. The list goes on. Scott Storch had contacted Steve Lobel after we finished the project and was like, yo, I got this independent artist. He's really dope. We got a whole project together. I think, we can all make some money off of it. And Scott was real adamant about Steve listening. Steve actually told me later on he didn't listen at first. Scott called him like 4 times to make sure he listened. So when he finally listened, he liked the music. He flew me out to LA, partnered up with me and Global Hussle, and helped us get out there, move out there, and the rest is history with Steve. But while I'm out there, I record in the same studio as Trippie Redd, and I work with Abaddon. He's produced hit records for like Tekashi and Russ and Burner, and it's just when you're in Hollywood, it's so many people. Like I'm literally in Hollywood, so it's like J. Cole. I haven't hung out with J. Cole, but we was in the studio together, YB and Corday, and so it's just like you you can't be starstruck, and I think that's one thing my journey has helped me leading up to me moving to LA. Is my manager Pac-Man, he put me in a lot of positions where at first I was starstruck every time I went somewhere, like, oh shit, it's so-and-so.
Of course.
And now,
because being in Wichita, Kansas, it's not like we're seeing these people on an everyday basis.
Exactly. And so I would just fan out, oh, I need a picture, I need a, you know what I mean, and things like that. So over time, I just kind of see them as my equals now, you know, even though they might have more success at this time. You just kind of get accustomed to it, you know what I mean?
And speaking of getting accustomed to it, now you have to get accustomed to the fact that you are growing in celebrity. And so now people are fanning out when they see Crim, Dela, Crim.
Yeah.
So what is that like?
It's like, I've kind of gotten used to it in Wichita because they've been fanning out for a while. How they fan out now is way different. Like, I was in Walmart and I hear screaming and, you know, these kids run up. It's more of like the younger generation is really like embraced me. But I think the craziest thing is like being outside of Wichita and being recognized. Yeah.
So, I mean, are you feeling like your hard work is now being recognized, everything that you put into it?
Most definitely. You know, it's a long time coming, and everything that I've been through has prepared me for these situations. But yeah, I feel I'm finally, you know, getting, I wouldn't necessarily say the recognition I need, because that's on me, and I need to put in more groundwork. I have a lot more to do. And so, you know, I feel like the Scott Storch project with the very beginning.
Yeah,
like, that's where it all starts. Even though there's a lot more that starts, that's when I got like a lot of eyes on me globally, and that's when my fan base grew. Like, you know, it started to grow when I did the song with Devin the Dude. But when I did the project with Scott Storch, when I look at my analytics, you know, on my Apple Music and Spotify, like, it's not just a dot here, and here. There's like clusters in Dubai and France.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Amsterdam is one of my biggest markets, you know, and so it's finally starting to get out there. And that's why I'm so excited about this upcoming project, because this is the first project since the Scott Storch album.
And it's called?
Giuseppe's and Gelato 2. It's the second installment of the G&G movement.
I got an opportunity to hear a little bit of it earlier, and so I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Tell me about the hard work that went into creating this project.
So this project's a little different than actually all my projects. So all my other projects, I'll be in like album mode and I'll put it together within like a few months or something like that. I mean, the Scott Storch project was a weekend. I stayed at his house, but this project has been a collection of songs I've done over the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, some of these songs are 3 years old, but it's just I just hadn't put them out, and I'm setting on so much good music. I need to get it out. And so with knowing that you have all of this really good music that you're sitting on, you know, is there an urgency? Is there, you know, are you anxious to put it out there? I am anxious. I don't know if there's necessarily an urgency. A piece of game someone gave me was, what's the point in dropping music on deaf ears? And so what I took from that was, you know, you gotta build something in order for people to listen. And so my whole career, I would just drop music, 20 people hear it, and I move on to the next album. And so with the last couple of projects, like, I've really been focused on building some kind of buzz for me, you know what I mean, like on my level where I'm at right now, just so people are tuned in and so they listen. And I did that with the last couple of projects, and they've been my most successful projects. So I think this being as highly anticipated as it is, being the first project since the Scott Storch, a lot of people just been waiting on it.